Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. It is the 12th. Monday. Got earnings season coming up this week, so it's going to be interesting to see how the market flow changes here, because it's been getting awfully quiet lately, wouldn't you say? Well, we come over here to the charts, and you can see on Friday, when we left around 9 o'clock, there was a dip and a recovery, and it was just kind of okay. And then later in the day, through noon, it was kind of like a normal update. Going into the close, though, another one of those panic bid days. I'm always thinking, there was one of those way back here, and that ended up being off of news. But this, I think that's got to be options and stuff. But we got earnings this week. I think that's a key, that's going to be a key factor. We also got a bit of treasury issuance, though. So I think we're going to see some interesting activity, right? But nothing today until the auctions for today. So it might be a little bit quiet. Why is that popping up? In the treasuries, last week we had a bit of a bounce. On Friday, it was all over the place. Look at this. Overnight it was pretty hard and then drifted back up. I think that given that there's issuance, that we might be a little bit biased to the downside. But we'll see. We'll see. Coming over into the commodities here. Oil looking bullish this morning, but still within the range. Gold. So gold just got hammered on Friday. And I don't get, this is just some of the most bizarre moves in gold sometimes, But I guess it's okay where it is. Could be worse, right? Same here with silver. And copper taking a hit this morning. Ooh, I don't know what the deal is with copper there. That's kind of interesting. And we'll come over here and check out the dollar. The dollar getting hit a little bit today. So, it's not like below 91.5, but pretty good. Pretty good downside there. So that's something we've got to keep in mind. Anyways, let's come over here and turn on the text to speech. How are you doing, Keller? You're here right on time, early. Well, I usually don't start until 6:20, but you will see the event there and you can start talking before the stream starts, so. All right. Pull all of my tapes up and everything. Minimize that. I'll bring this over here. Oh, I guess we should check Bitcoin too, right? So Bitcoin able to make it above 60K and a new all-time high. We'll see. There was a little bit of a test there at the 60K again. Something that's been happening a lot recently is it'll get above 60K and then people sell below it. So I don't know what it would take to get the kind of move that those guys in Bitcoin really want and need, right? So we shall see. Okay, well, so for the first 8 minutes of the Treasury session, I guess you could say they're moving okay. It's not necessarily a spot that I want to mess with. I've been up all night because I'm heavy in Dodge. Wait, does Dodge been doing something or something? I don't understand. Man. Well, let's come over and look at our watch list and see what the shitcoins have been doing lately. Yeah. Then not a bad, it's a 10% increase. I don't know though. Well, all of these are up. Here's the thing is like, that's interesting about Dogecoin is that, well, let's say the past 3 months. Yeah. It's been that long. So there was that initial push, and now it's just kind of been going sideways. I think a lot of people will read that as an ascending triangle, but here, like I said, we can't, like I always say, I can't forecast, right? The issue with Doge is still that you got a lot of people thinking and dump, right? You got to realize that what's going on in Dogecoin is a game of chicken. But if it's been, I wouldn't stay up over that. It's skyrocketed. Well, I mean, I guess that when you take up the last 7 days of it, we went from 7 to 7. I don't know, man. That's okay. For a shitcoin, that's not that great. For a shitcoin, you want like 1,000% gains, right? Just another note. I was just noticing now. A little bit more slippery than it has been in the overnight session. Oh, you're only on Robinhood, so you can't access. Well, you can. What you got to do is you got to get an account on Coinbase, and you go and you buy the Bitcoin on Coinbase, and then you transfer it to a different exchange, and then you can buy the other stuff on the other exchange, or you just mine it. That's how I got all the garlic coin that I've got. I actually did quite a bit with a bunch of different currencies, but in 2017, it was after 2017, so it would have been like 2018, 2019. I got all out of everything. I had an opportunity to get it again, but I didn't take it. It wasn't undervalued, so I passed. Oh well. I really just don't want anything to do with it now. It feels too complicated. Well, so the thing you should immediately be thinking about is, okay, so then that really does kind of put a limit on what the other coins can do, huh? Mohammed El Rain, formerly of PIMCO, says this economy is set to boom. Every indicator I look at suggests that we are going to grow 7% and above in 2021. The only thing that can get in the way of this is infections get out of control. Otherwise, we have everything coming together. Yeah, I'm sure. Oh yeah, what day does the Coinbase listing happen? You've been following all. Why? Oh, God. I've taught you. I feel I failed you. I feel like I've taught you nothing. Embattled Florida Representative Matt Gaetz has denied a meeting with former President Donald Trump. Well, what would Donald Trump do for him anyways? You're either in... The thing with Matt Gaetz, I don't know what's going on. I think that this story is incredibly odd. He's either guilty or he's not. So what would Donald Trump do, right? Hey, I'm up 25%. No, but you're... Remember, I was just thinking about this morning. It's like our ability to predict future price movements off of past price movements is incredibly limited. our ability to predict future price movements off of current information is very situational, right? I don't think that as traders that our primary job is to be forecasters. I know a lot of people say that, but it kind of doesn't really make sense a lot of time, because when you're taking a trade, you're making a prediction of some sort, right? You're always making a prediction of some sort when you take a trade. You're saying that over the long term, the expectancy of this trade is positive, right? But I think that trading is saying this thing is undervalued or overvalued on a relative basis because of this and this. And it's not necessarily forecasting. So when I see people running around consuming a lot of media of people trying to forecast future price movements, I just kind of shake my head, because all of those people making those forecasts can't really do what they're trying to do, And it can be detrimental to your trading. Be very careful with that, Keller. Because what happens is you get the little dopamine rush from making money, and then you want to continue that dopamine rush by consuming social media content, but then you don't get the content and you just keep going and going and going. And especially if you start to feel like the anxiety and stuff, that can like really hurt your trading. And that's where people will like hang on, like it'll start going against them and they just hang on through it going against them. And then they get a little bit of a profit and they take it off. Scott Adams, most of our major news stories have the coincidental effect of making at least one industry richer. The Floyd trial makes the news business richer. The virus makes pharma richer. What? Scott Adams has been saying weird stuff ever since Donald Trump lost. Is it just me? Or has he been saying weird stuff? Well, E-mini, pretty quiet. Treasuries, they're still up here in this spot where I was like, I don't know if I really want to touch it. And like, look at the flow, it's just awful. So I'm just the kind of person that listens to everything. Well, I mean, I will. I don't get me wrong. I try and get as much stuff in as I can, but the thing is you're going to come in at some point and you're going to know so much stuff that you're going to realize I can't consume everything and I have to pick and choose which things I'm going to consume, right? The thing that drives me the most crazy is that everybody seems to think, okay, coming on and watching this guy on YouTube, and it's funny because obviously I should want people to watch me on YouTube, right? But it seems like most people could say, oh, this guy on YouTube, I should consume more of them. And the one that I don't have time for is that really sophisticated analyst, from one of the Wall Street banks that like really actually understands the thing, So, did you guys watch, by the way, the 60 Minutes piece with the Federal Reserve President? I've actually been watching that one guy you recommended. Are you talking about Mr. Boyle? He is smart. He's not going to share with you very many things directly related to trading, but he knows so freaking... I think that the thing that I'm jealous of him for, I guess, is he knows so much about the history, I'm assumed that he's gotten it from a bunch of books, and I just haven't bothered reading them all. But he knows so much about the history of all the different major funds and things like that. I'm like, I wish I could do that stuff. Kendall report. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think I really recommend anybody else. Uzi, how are you? Yeah, like people that I've come across on YouTube, that I discovered from YouTube. I'd say Patrick Boyle is probably the only one that I really thought was worth squat. Now, there are other people that I know just from futures trading, right? And I would say that the majority of these guys that are in the futures trading space are okay to watch, right? I think Futures Trader 71 is a pretty great resource, especially when you're getting started out and you don't really understand the mechanics of futures trading. I think Anthony Crudelli has a lot of good information. Interestingly enough, though, I kind of look back on a lot of the things that these guys are saying, and I'm like, I'm not on the same page as them anymore. Anthony, donation already. Thank you very much. Any thoughts about the Coinbase IPO? It's on pre-sale at FTX at $583 right now. Wow. Well, so I was thinking about that here, and I forgot to look it up. But what day does it go live here? Experts predict volatility. Blah 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 blah. What day? What day is it? Maybe Motley Fool will tell us. April 14th, so Wednesday. Oh, of course, they picked the highest volume day of the... Well, I have to say, so first of all, the numbers that they put out in terms of how much revenue they were making was a little crazy. Don't you think? Now, I'm not suggesting that they're doing something sketchy or anything like that. But what I am suggesting is that I do not believe those kinds of numbers are sustainable. In no way. How can they be? They're making more than all of these other exchanges combined in the US, like the stock exchanges and like the whole shebang. Like that's nuts, right? So I don't think that's sustainable. I own someone. Oh, you own some. Well, I'm so in terms of IPOs, again, like I can't forecast, man. I don't know, but we can go through the possibilities. I think that's the thing that you want to look at is like, I can't tell you with real surety what's going to happen. In fact, when I look at a chart, my conclusion has been that I can't even tell you with a greater than 55% accuracy what's going to happen. I guess on longer time frames, the more accurate we're going to become, right? But what I've noticed with IPOs, most IPOs that we've seen in the recent past, they come out and they tend to do well, at least at the very beginning. There is a bunch of people that just are going to play IPOs in this market, and there's always just an absolute flood of people looking to get in things. And I would bet that Coinbase is going to be the same thing. And you kind of got to wonder at that point, how much interest is there? Does it kind of become a cult following thing, like Tesla, for instance? So I'm going to lean towards that. After they come out, it's going to go up and it's going to continue, right? But there's this other dynamic going on that I see that concerns me. So one is that we have seen a couple of the new issuance that's been coming out with SPACs and so forth in the past like month, where they haven't been performing very well. So that's a thing. I would think that Coinbase is probably going to be unique and buck any kind of a trend, because it's going to be more about Coinbase than it is about the larger IPO market. But we'll see. The other thing is that the Coinbase is going to be worth very much what Bitcoin is worth, right? Let's say another doubt. Thank you. You don't have to do that, Anthony. I really appreciate it, though. Every time it always makes me feel good. The thing that matters to me more than getting money is that people appreciate what we do here enough to donate. By the Fumers Sell the News, I already tripled. Well, wow. I mean, that's good. I mean, I think you could probably make more on it, but I don't really know. The thing that I'm just always looking at here, though, with that is going to be the price of Coinbase is going to be heavily dependent on the price of Bitcoin. It doesn't make sense. I've never seen Bitcoin decline before a big event like that, right? It always pumps into the event, and then after the event, that's often like in 2017. The futures, everybody was excited about the futures, so they all bought in for the futures, and then as soon as the futures came live, that was it. That was the top. And then like a few days later, a week later or whatever, it like outright crashed, right? Well, that's a possibility that if you're in Coinbase that I would be keeping an eye on, right? Is it pushing up just because of Coinbase? After Coinbase, what is the next impetus? They've been pretty lucky that they've been getting drivers one after another, right? Because we had the what was it? Oh, it was Ethereum futures going live. That's funny that happened, and then like everybody forgets about it. Now they got this. There's also micro futures, but I really don't think that should have a significant impact on the market. It's for baby. Oh, it's always just for the baby. I'll save all of the tips for him. Yeah, thank you very much, Anthony. And the last thing that I can just say about it is that my valuation indicator, which has predicted the past 4 or 5 crashes now, says that we're overbought. But we have been at an overbought condition, like a severely overbought condition on my indicator for a very, very long time. A period of time that it has never done before and that I didn't really think was possible. So I don't know what happens from there. That it seems to me that the things that are driving it right now are a little different from what it normally is, right? I think that a lot of this action has more to do with that there's just like a really big supply constraint right now. These guys are coming out, and I think that they're printing money, but regardless, they're coming out and they're buying the coin and then they're taking it out of the market. And so it's just becoming rare. But that kind of a dynamic you got to be careful with too, right? Because at some point, the momentum will flip on you. Yeah, I was thinking I'd rather just have the cryptos. Coinbase seems to be the only good play in my mind if cryptos in general just all take off, and I don't think they all will. Well, they won't. Like, you gotta understand something about this whole situation. So one of the things that I think is funny that people are talking about is that one of the discussions that seems to be popular in the crypto community right now is, what if the U.S. government bans Bitcoin because it's a threat to their dollar hegemony? Well, first of all, I don't think that they're that concerned about it. Everybody says, well, they can't ban it because, there's been some places where they ban it and then they ban the mining, and once they confiscate it, like the government officials just turn around and use that and mine it themselves. So it would actually like increase the amount of mining by banning it and stuff like that. Well, okay. But here's the thing. I don't think that the US is going to come out and ban Bitcoin, right? No, what they're going to do is they're going to come out and they will just deny you access to the US banking system, right? It'll be like, okay, you can use Bitcoin. You can go and buy things with Bitcoin. Probably it would be really hard to ban buying things with Bitcoins. In fact, I'm not sure if banning buying things with Bitcoins would be constitutional. Okay. But they could say you can't transfer Bitcoins for dollars. They can come in and regulate that, right? And that's what I would be worried about. If that were to happen, Coinbase would be done, right? Coinbase would be worth nada. I don't think that they're going to do that, at least not anytime soon. But if it really became a problem, it's a possibility that they would do that. What would happen? Coinbase would be worth nothing. Okay. So would it hurt the overall cryptocurrency market? I think so. And here's why. And here's where I think there's a problem is that, okay, if you can't exchange your Bitcoins for dollars, then what good are they? Because right now you can't really use Bitcoin to buy stuff, right? The whole thing has been set up so that it's hard to buy stuff with Bitcoins now. Like they kind of like accepted that and just said, oh, it's fine. We'll just be a store of value. Well, okay. But then if you can't actually convert your store of value into the currency that you actually want to use to buy things, then it's worthless to you, right? I would say. So this argument that I think that the Bitcoin guys like to make, that it's impossible to ban it, you don't have to ban it. You just have to say you can't exchange dollars. Just get rid of the exchanges that exchange dollars. Just deny Coinbase and Gemini access to the U.S. banking system, and crypto would just collapse in on its own, right? And then it would take a really long time for it to come back up. And in the meantime, who knows what they would do then, you know? Is that sort of a thing. So you can't use it. Well, here's the next thing, is that one of the real use case for cryptocurrency, I would argue, is that you don't have to use the banking system. You don't have to go and get like a bank account to use Bitcoin. You just go and you download the software on your machine and you create a wallet and and then you transfer money to the wallet, and you don't have to use anything else, really. I mean, you have to use stuff to transfer for dollars. Yes. But if the whole economy was using Bitcoin, you wouldn't have to do that. They would pay you in Bitcoin. You just set the wallet up. You just give them the hash, right? Lovely. Okay. That's the utility of Bitcoin, right? I think that is a really strong use case, okay? Because a commodity, whatever, it's worth what you can do with it, really, okay? Like oil is valuable because you can buy oil and use it to fuel your car, right? Okay. Now, the ability to transfer money, that's valuable. So there's a real use case for Bitcoin. But here's the problem. The US government is working on a cryptocurrency. The Chinese government has already created a currency. Apparently, they've banned Bitcoin, but still the majority of the mining is happening in China, and certain provinces will disable it or not. That's another thing that's a little odd. But what's going to happen when there's a US dollar that you can actively do stuff with? There's kind of this assumption, the joke in the cryptocurrency market is that this is good for Bitcoin. I don't think that it is good for Bitcoin. I think that it takes away the real use case for Bitcoin, and then it really does just have only value in terms of its speculative qualities. And if that's the real use case for it, I would say that Bitcoin is ridiculously overvalued here, But our US cryptocurrency isn't coming anytime soon, and I'm going to bet that Bitcoin will have a crash long before any of that stuff happens, right? I just don't see Elon putting himself on the line so stupidly for dog money. If there weren't something he could make happen with that would be worth something. Well, no, that is. So let's try and take the Elon factor out of it for a second. The guy that everybody, that the cryptocurrency market talking about a lot is this Michael Saylor guy, right? That MicroStar or whatever the company is, MSTR, they bought a bunch of cryptocurrency. It increased the value of their company by a ton, even though it's like a dying tech company, and it's been beneficial for them. Okay. So let's come in and say the same sort of thing. I don't think that Michael Saylor would do that if, because he's a smart guy. Right? Here's the problem with that. What do we know? We know something that Michael Saylor and Elon Musk don't know. We know something that 99% of the world public don't know. What is that? Our ability to forecast future prices off of past prices is very limited. That's one thing that we know that they don't. Another thing that we know that they don't is that you can't just make money off of your execution impact. That your execution impact ends up being a drag because when you try and take the profit, you will sell it down just as much. And if there's somebody out there just as big as you to take a profit, then you by buying it, you set the market up for a fall, for it to come below your entry price. And especially if you're doing it with margin, that's a problem, right? So I would argue I don't care what Elon Musk is going to do, because our ability to forecast future prices is very limited, right? So why should I buy something if my ability to forecast, anybody's ability, and I mean really anybody's ability to forecast future prices, especially over the short term, is very limited, right? Then the only reason I should buy something is because I can sell it for more later as a trader. And how do I know that I can sell it for more later? Well, I can look at what the value of it is compared to everything else. And there's another big problem with Bitcoin, right? Although it's not really so much of a problem as it is a difficulty, right? Because over here, I can come and I can look at it and I can say, okay, well, we ticked down in the 10-year. The 10-year and the 5-year both ticked down 1. The 30-year ticked down 2. And what is the spread and what should they be? If the 10-year were to tick up at 20, in fact, I'll put an order out there just for the hell of it. Oh, no, never mind. It changed. I was going to say, if the 10-year ticked up on its own, I would want to sell it because the 5-year is going to have to lead if they're going to move up, right? So I have a correlated instrument that reflects very well what is going on in the treasuries that I can kind of use to value the different instruments against each other. And I can value it against the dollar. And I know that when X thing happens, that this is going to move this way. And when the X thing happens, it's going to move this way because the value of it changes, right? But in Bitcoin, it's like, okay, the dollar is getting stronger. And so, the value of equities and the value of gold and the value of silver and all of these other things is going down. And then, because of the strong dollar, and then cryptocurrency, which you would think should be very strongly correlated to what the value of the dollar is doing, is still up that day, right? So how do you value it on a relative basis in cryptocurrency? Especially since you can't really use it anymore, right? If you could use it, then this is what I think I would be doing right now, is I would be saying, oh, I can go and I can buy this thing cheaper with Bitcoin than I can with dollars. Or maybe it's more expensive. So maybe I'll go and buy it with dollars and then relist it on the thing and sell it and try and bank the profit off of that, right? I think those are the sorts of things we should be looking for. Complete change of topic, but I just read the Hondo Investor and I came across that Kelly concept. Oh, the Kelly Criterion. Right. The Kelly Criterion is an interesting thing. I think it's probably more applicable to somebody doing a portfolio, right? But if there's I think that it's a really great thing for new traders to learn about, because new traders think the only thing that matters is I look at how much I make compared to how much I lose and what my win rate is, and that will tell me how much money I make, and that's all I need to know. But when you really get into it, and what the Kelly Criterion tells us is that it's more complicated than that, because there's also a probability that you're going to get a certain number of losers in a row. And the chances of that happening over the amount of time that you're going to trade, it's like guaranteed to happen. And if that is larger than your account, you're going to lose out. And the Kelly Criterion tells us that if you're risking too much of your portfolio, that the chances that you blow out basically become 100% if you're using too much of your portfolio. And so you have to size it appropriately. Well, I passed up on the sell there. They wouldn't have filled me anyways. And now we're down 3 ticks. Meanwhile, the dollar. You know what I'm thinking of doing, by the way? I've learned that losers hurt more than winners help. Well, I don't know if that's... It's true if your average loser is larger than your average winner, yes. I really need to get a better eye on the dollar. I'm not sure how to do it. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come to this tab and I'm going to duplicate it in a new window. And I'm going to pull my dollar over here. Oh, by the way, we want this too. Oh, it turns off. That's so annoying. Now, where can we put it? Like, it can go up 100% a million times, but you can only go down 100% once. Oh, yes. Well, that's more a function of what percentages are. Those are where you get into some weird things in stocks where it's like, yeah, 10% gain is different from a 10% loss in stocks, isn't it? I'm thinking putting it over here, maybe. Can I do that? Sure. I'm going to put it in like a little teeny tiny window like that. Little teeny window. Little baby window. And then I'll make this, I'm going to close this and open it back up so that I get my, little meter. Okay. Then I can come over here and I can make this one. I can make this other one be more of a 5-minute. In this one, I can change it so that it only loads one day. You know, I need more than a day. I need 5 days. Probably 3 would be enough, but okay, so the dollar just took a dip there. Okay. I think that I need to be going for more than 8 right now, though. Well, it's pretty early, and the equities are looking pretty good, so we'll have plenty of other opportunities if we decide to go through this. Treasury's bouncing off of that low there. Okay. I'm okay with that. So I think that part of the reason the move in the dollar is because one of the Bank of England's guys is talking right now. It looks like they are... Well, the British pound is moving a little bit, but it doesn't look too significant. Collector game items? I'm not sure what that is. 3DS was a game console, right? Looking at the volume here, it's not bad. I wish that the jigsaw power meters and with the colors and everything not very good. I did make some progress on making my own, by the way. So there's that, which is good. I don't actually like have something, but like I got all of the components up and working. So now I've just kind of been sitting and thinking about the technical details about it. I'm thinking, oh, let's just have it redo it every X seconds or something. I don't know. Reshoring is a dangerous technique for the world, says Bank of England's Tenrose. Tenreo. Yeah, you know, the thing going on in China with them finding Alibaba and all that is really odd to me. But they've been doing there's kind of been some stuff going on, you know, like when the CEO like disappeared and all of that stuff and hasn't been seen in public and all those. Yeah, it's kind of odd. It's also that stock, you know, was part of the Archegos falling apart, wasn't it? And then there was also the IPO that they were doing, that the Ant IPO that fell apart. One thing I will say though is good for China for actually giving them a real fine. I'm not going to say that it was a justified fine or not, because I don't know. It's just kind of seems like out of nowhere. But hey, at least you find them something significant. Oh man. Yeah. This guy on Twitter, there's simply not enough gold to challenge the dollar on a global scale. Gold, cryptos, etc. are multipolarity assets for trade. We do not live in that world today, or will in any of our lifetimes. We're a dollar-based financial system. He's right. Bitcoin could not replace the dollar in use today. It wouldn't work. SMB Capital guy thinks it's positive news now that it's over. I mean, I guess all of those stocks are kind of down a bit, huh? So I'm detecting a pretty good volume, and yes.
Where's the baby monitor?
It should be plugged into the thing over there. Hold on, I'm not sure. She can't find the baby monitor. Should I go and look for it? I'll go look. I'm gonna go look. I'll be right back. We found out almost immediately it was sitting on the couch. Oh, now look at this. That's a toughie. So I might be able to get filled at 20.5. But will I be able to get filled at 20? Well, actually, I think I probably could get away with it. So we'll try. Oops. Misclick. Well, I'm going to say that's not what we wanted. A surprising amount of buying coming into there, in fact. Qs are pretty stable here in the 10-year. Goldman's and Alice say don't fight the Fed 4100 mid-year and higher end year. Market watch. Well, we're already at 4100. That's like the kind of the funny thing, right? We're already 4 months in and hitting a lot of people's year-end targets. But I would agree with this idea that the Federal Reserve wants inflation and they're going to get it, I think is a good investment thesis. I mean, that has kind of always been my working base. Like I think you want to be long commodities. The funny thing is, if we didn't have so much debt, would it be so bad? You know? If the U.S. was on a good path fiscally and had a budget surplus and was paying off the debt and all that sort of stuff, maybe perpetually low interest rates and forever wouldn't be so bad. I guess maybe there's some concern that maybe the rate of GDP growth was not enough compared to the rate of population growth. But I think that part of why GDP growth has been lower is because population growth has been lower. You know what I mean? But I would say that the way that things went the last 10 years in terms of how it benefited the markets and everything wasn't terrible. It was just bad for anybody that had debt, right? Well, yes, still kind of chopping. Deutsche Bank on Thursday, Turkey's central bank is expected to maintain rates at 19%. Wait, their rates are at 19%? What? Black Lives Matters activists want investigation of leader after real estate binge. Yeah, that one was... I'm actually surprised that that story got as much coverage as it has been. It looks like dollar weakening again. Oh, I finally got it. Okay. Well, there's somebody on Twitter. Oh, that's Peter. Peter saying that Alibaba is up. Well, there you go, Vlad. Peter from Discord is looks bullish on Alibaba. Kyle, there you are. How are you doing? 10 minutes before the open. Binging on options courses. Yeah. I was following that conversation in Discord the other day, and I thought that they brought up good points, right? There's no free lunch. I think one of the things that I certainly remember thinking about a lot, and I guess maybe that's why I talk about it so much, is that a certain kind of trade wherein you get a certain win rate, or certain what do we call it, convexivity on your trade or whatever, is not the answer. Sometimes we think, or it's like, you just got to start trading this instrument, or you start doing this thing, and then you'll make money, and you see other people doing it, so you think, oh yeah, that's where the money's at. But the reality is there's no free lunch. So you just come into that, you're dealing with a different set of problems. And the question is that set of problems better suited to you and what you're trying to do? And how do you develop the actual edge in those situations? That's where, for me, the thing that concerns me is that I would want to be able to price the options out really fast, and I haven't seen a data feed that really would allow me to do that effectively. I guess I could probably do it with interactive brokers, but then that's like a lot of work and a lot of stuff that I don't know that I would have to work on as well. The question is, what's a better trade-off for the type of edge that you have? Well, how are you sure that you have an edge? That's another question. How are you truly sure that you have an edge? So the thing that concerns me on that one is that you seem to believe that you know which direction it's going to go. And I'm not convinced, because everything that we've seen is that short to midterm, we're not really very good at that. Okay, well, they're clearing the offer here in the 10-year quite a bit. I'm not seeing the sellers at 20.5. The pace of volume in the E-mini looks not bad. I'm going to take that off just in case they take off on the open. I don't want both of those to fill if that happens. Good morning, Lucas. How you been? Haven't seen you in a few days. What you up to? Rick Steincap, that one sounds familiar, but it's not a name I've seen recently. How are you doing? You look more colorful today? I don't know. I think I got maybe a better night's rest yesterday. I'm still having trouble waking up in the night and feeling really cold. Maybe I need to get a new blanket. Bitfinex retweets Cass, the Wolf of No Street. Here's my issue with BitClout. There's an account on the platform that regularly tweets out the price of BitClout tokens. Where this number is acquired is impossible to find out besides the API site, which just lists a number, and there's nowhere to trade BitClout. Oh, there's nowhere to trade BitClout yet? Ew, okay. I have definitely seen a lot about that. I've seen people on TikTok pushing about BitClout as it's the next big social media platform. But some of these people are the ones that are they're always trying to say that such and such is the next big social media platform. All of the people for, what is it called? Clubhouse? By the way, did you see the Clubhouse data leak? That's pretty bad. I've never seen something like that for somebody so new to the market. I kind of wonder how that one's going to work out. Because I don't really see the point of it. Oh, we didn't go and start it in Discord today. You know what? It's fine. We should do that on Fridays. Fridays should be open mic days. We'll do whatever the news is, but because there's lots of Fridays, or maybe we could do it Monday. We could do it Monday too, because there's almost never news on Mondays. Mondays historically haven't been the best days for me. "100 top CEOs plot to punish states which pass restrictive voting laws." Okay. I shouldn't get too deep into that one. Oh man, over the weekend I had a friend on YouTube, or on Facebook, they know on Facebook, and they had a YouTube channel, and they're a person of color. So I don't know what the most politically correct way to say that is. It's a white girl with mixed race kids, and the kid had a YouTube channel and got into an online argument over that sort of stuff, claiming that other people on her feed were had too much of a victim mentality. So it was that kind of an argument, you know what I mean? And YouTube ended their account. Can you believe that? It's so funny when you read those politically biased stories. Well, it's just because it's coming up on my Twitter feed. That one was from Zero Hedge was tweeting that. That seems like something that could matter politically. I love it when you read it with the drama voice. Yeah, well, because some of them, yeah. I hope that means that you guys get the joke then, right? The media always tries to make everything so dramatic. Okay, well, it was a pretty bad drop there ahead of the open, wasn't it? In fact, now that I lost one, I'm just going to get out of it, wait for the open, and then I'll try. Oh, I wasn't really paying attention. I need to pay better attention because the dollar came back really strong there, and I think that that's why it moved. There we go. Well, it's being awfully difficult to get filled at 20.5, isn't it? It's going to start like that again. I'll dip my feet in. So the net delta on the open is positive, but it's pretty calm and orderly open so far. We did get our fill there. By the way, we got some treasury actions. I haven't seen any like super huge orders over here. Just the 20 has been a little stubborn. Little bit of a nibble there. Microsoft is buying speech technology company Nuance. Nuance. Yeah, I think that's Nuance. In an all-cash deal valued at $19.7 billion. There were more disruptions from the La Soufriere volcano this weekend. Oh man, did you hear about that, man? There's this volcano that's erupting. And so they're evacuating people on this island. But they're only evacuating people that have had vaccines. Yeah. I read that one. I was like, so messed up. Then you can put the pressure on them here or what? Why is my mom over here? I just heard my mom. What is she doing?
Block by.
Hmm. Block by at 20 half. Q's stabilized still. 5-year down still, so I think I'm okay. E-mini pushing up a new regular session high. Still a little, is still about a point away from where they were before the open, right? Cool. Played that one correctly. In the E-mini, or in the treasury. You can see they'll stack at 20 in the 10-year. But then when it comes back down, they pull. Is that your own? That is built into Jigsaw. So in Jigsaw, if you see an order, it was a 3,000 lot order, buying 20 half. And I have my Jigsaw set up to alert me of orders larger than 3,000. So it's not like one of those exchange blocks, you know what I mean? It's just a large enough order to perk. Okay, so I got filled at 20. Okay. So now you need to come back over here. So the high on Friday was 2150. Right there. It still hasn't been long enough for me to look at the VIX, so. We care about your life, but I know. You know what? I just say what's going through my head, and what was going through my head is why would Grandma be over here? Maybe we can talk trees. I bought a tree. I bought a tree, and then I'm like, okay, where are we putting it? And where my wife said that she wanted it, it was like, no, that didn't make any sense. I don't think that that's actually where you want it. So we haven't talked about it. I'm concerned that she's gonna that I'm interpreting her correctly, and that where she wants to put it is going to be a place that we can't put it. Okay, well, they did finally hit into 20, but there was a big iceberg there and a decent amount of volume taking it off. So I'm not happy with the way that started in the treasury. In the end, I only made 2 ticks off of all of that. So, but that's more than we're looking for. So I think we're okay. why Ghostbusters Afterlife should move to May. Oh, so you know what I watched the other day? The new Godzilla versus King Kong movie. I thought it was great. I watched it on HBO Max, but you know what? I wish that I could see it in the theaters. Well, I guess I probably could see it in theaters, except for like, other than, you know, having a baby and all that stuff. But I enjoyed it. It was a really stupid movie with lots of really overdone special effects and everything. And I found that extremely entertaining. And it made me want to go to the movie theater again and watch a movie with 3D glasses and all of the, you know. It seemed to me like a movie that was really made for 3D. Could be wrong, but seemed like it was made for 3D. Well, this trend is looking pretty good. There's not a lot. So, you know, our R squared, it lags and everything. But at the moment, the R squared is kind of saying that there's not a lot of trend. But if, I don't know. I don't know how well that trade works anymore. This is a problem. But they're just getting into, we're just barely starting to have some trend. So we shall see. That move down there was pretty dramatic. So the world wants to know: are you on Team Kong or Team Godzilla? Well, I'm a larger fan of Godzilla, and Godzilla does win. Not to spoil it, but Godzilla wins. Godzilla defeats King Kong in the battle. But the way that they get it all, they do it all and they set it up, I'm kind of seems to me like there should be a King Kong versus Godzilla too. But then what would they do in that? Because they've already done the one with the 3 heads, right? And in this one, they do Mechagodzilla. What would the King Kong versus Godzilla 2 be about? Don't understand. So, I don't know. Not to spoil it, God wins. There you go. Also, Elon Musk dies in the movie. Am I the only one that's been noticing this tendency that in almost every sci-fi film there's a character that is obviously meant to be Elon Musk that always dies? Like, he's always the bad guy and he dies in it. Oh man, there was this movie, what was it called? Oh, it was so weird. It was a Korean movie. It was a Korean sci-fi movie. And it had pretty fancy special effects. I would say, you know, it kind of had some of the pacing problems that a lot of foreign films have and everything. But the concepts and stuff in it, I thought were really cool. It was a cool sci-fi, but there was a character in it that was basically Elon Musk. And he was an American. It was the only character played in it that was an American. So it's like, why does every sci-fi have Elon Musk as the bad guy? I don't get it. Everybody praises Elon Musk and how he's a genius and everything, but then they're all convinced that he's going to try and take over the world and do something evil. It's just Forex Live tweets major indexes open lower to start the trading week. Well, I mean, like, technically they're down from yesterday, but from Friday, but come on. I think Hollywood just hates them. It could just be a Hollywood. Or maybe he really is trying to take over. I mean, come on. The thing is, in this Godzilla movie, it's so blatantly obvious that it's supposed to be him, because the entrepreneur is like overly willing to take excessive risks and things like that. And that's what ends up destroying him in the end. But there's some other things going on, like in the movie, there's large facilities that they've built. Like they built a facility to house King Kong so that they can monitor him. And when you look at the facility, you're like, okay, so like you realize that this would take like the entire economy of an industrialized nation like 30 years to build. and they act like it's a big secret. Like they kind of handle some of that stuff in Neon Genesis Evangelion. That some of the more interesting parts about Evangelion are how they're able to have this economy built around building these mechas, but it's still being kind of semi-secret because not everybody in the world knows what's going on. But in this one, it's like it's a complete secret. Only this small group of people in the government knows what's going on with this facility, and it's just something that we would never be able to build, you know? Marcus says wrong Godzilla. Yes, but only after Godzilla defeats King Kong. Right? Godzilla beats King Kong, and when he beats him, he does a really big roar. He's like, I won. I'm better. I don't need to kill you, but I'm better. And King Kong tries to roar back, but, you know, it's just kind of like, okay, well, I am like about to die, so what's really the point? And then then Godzilla. See, I'm ruining the movie. You just tune out if you don't want to know what happens. Come on, the storyline's not important. It's just good special effects. Godzilla gets his butt kicked by Mechagodzilla. And so King Kong and Godzilla have to gang up on him. It's exactly what you would expect to happen, of course. But it's all just a vehicle for the awesome fight sequences. And the fight sequence at the end is so dope. And when King Kong kills Mechagodzilla and rips its head and the spine comes out and everything, like real mecha gore, oh, it's so great. I love it. I love it. It's just something, you know, you just put on the TV and don't actually watch until you get to the fight sequences. See, now I ruined it. Now you have to watch it. Now you should still go see it. Go see it in theaters. I like the first Godzilla that they watched, and I watched that in theaters with Mothra. Oh, that was so good. I liked that. In theaters. When I watched it again when it came out on video, I was like, this is terrible. Okay, well, the E-Mini took a pretty good little reach up here. It's come back and it's just kind of been sitting here. I'm wondering, we come into the look at the options and so forth. I mean, they're putting their streams more prominently on TradingView. I thought about making it over there, but then I was like, Okay, so we're starting out at 16, which is about where you'd expect. So the target should be around somewhere around the 35 to 40 area. They've been severely underperforming volatility lately, though, so that one's a little questionable. Oh, by the way, we don't need that. ECB bought a net $1.5 billion worth of assets in the public sector purchase program in the week April 9th versus $3.8 billion a week earlier. Oh, interesting. So substantially less. The Biden administration has secured agreements for Mexico, Honduras, and Guatemala to put more troops on their own border to help stem the flow of immigration. Special Assistant to the President for Immigration and the Domestic Policy Council, Tyler Morgan, told, hey, you know what, Biden, I've got an idea for you. How about we go those things? So there was this policy that we had before where if you came to the United States and you requested asylum, that you would wait your asylum hearing in Mexico. So here's my idea. Let's bring that policy back because it worked. I think that's what's going to end up happening is they're just going to bring back all of Trump's policies. Maybe Kong was playing. No, he almost. Okay. Well, we can talk about this a little bit later when you've all seen it. Since we're talking about gorillas, check out FEG token is. Are we talking about monkey bite sort of stuff again? Look at this. Look at this. Sputters out early. Well, okay. So I didn't get nearly as much on that as we wanted. I guess I should have taken the profit, but that's okay, because probably we can buy the dip here at some point. So let's kind of see. The way that it turned over there was kind of slow. So that kind of looks more like technical behavior. I think we'd need to see more than these 500s trading down here to try and take a reversal, but and I'll switch this over since we do seem to be trading. That is a lot of selling. They're very imbalanced selling at the moment. James DePore says cannabis and biotechnology extremely weak. That's all crypto. Well, the cryptocurrencies are kind of just chilling. I don't know. That was all pre-market action. So I don't know if you can read too much into that. Now, that move down was accompanied with some dollar strength. Just about the only commodity, the only thing doing really, really well today, other than the cryptos, which are always up, is oil up. Oh, it was 1.9%. Everything else is down. And what's down the most? Soybeans. So that's interesting. Selling gold. Well, gold is getting hammered, isn't it? Dollar strength, never good for gold. Is anything ever... The thing is that when it is good for gold, it doesn't move. Okay, so some signs that the downtrend is abating. I think gold's tendency in the long run is to just deflate because fewer and fewer people are using it as a safe haven. Well, it really makes you wonder, is really all of the dollar flight risk all going to Bitcoin? Well, that's not possible. It simply cannot handle it. So, and we're not seeing the volume to confirm that that's happening. So the only conclusion that I can make is that large players aren't really hedging themselves against inflation. They just want to be long stocks. That's what it looks like is happening to me. Time will tell how it works. If a dollar does take off, I think it will be much later in the year, right? It'll be like, we'll get late into the year, we'll get the inflation that we're supposed to get anyways, and then everybody will be freaking out about inflation. And at that point, a lot of people will say it's not just going to be transitory. And once people start getting concerned about, oh, well, we've had inflation and we're likely to get more and it's not going to be transitory, then I think they'll start buying gold. And so it'll be a situation where like gold's just going to keep going down and down and down. But when it finally does bounce, it's going to bounce so hard and some people are going to make tons of money. But how are you going to be able to time it? You know? It'll be one of those where if you time it right, it'll be amazing. But otherwise, meh. So far, the gold, having watched the gold trade now really closely for well over a year now, I'm just really disappointed in it, you know? So the E-mini's coming back to the open now, and I'm kind of wondering if they're going to get the dollar to fall back down here or not. I guess the midterm trend in the dollar is up for the moment, so okay, good deal. So I'm gonna readjust this. Sure. So that's why when the dollar gets creamed, we don't see very much gold appreciation, but when the dollar goes up, it gets smashed. Maybe. But again, it would be a different story. I mean, we are seeing Bitcoin go up, but not like as much as I would expect in a situation where there was really, truly like inflation concerns, you know? So it seems to me like at the moment that the market believes Powell, essentially. And at the moment, I essentially think that the market believes Powell. By the way, those small caps underperforming again today, which has been the tendency for a while now. We're thinking the small caps went too far, too quickly. Powell's new vision about inflation targets would really be great if it goes the way they plan it. Yeah. Well, I believe that this whole idea that because we haven't been hitting inflation in the past, that we kind of have to catch up, I think makes a lot of sense. And I think that allowing the economy to run a little bit hot makes a lot of sense. The issue is just there's kind of inflation is a really fickle thing, right? It's like, it's so hard to get inflation. But then because it's like an on or off sort of a thing, it's like as soon as it actually turns on and the market sees that there's inflation out there, it's incredibly difficult to turn it off without harming the economy. You know, so the question is really, they're going to get their over 2% inflation. When they start tapping back down on it, is it going to get away from them or not? It's really and it turns into a situation where we've never really. I mean, I don't know what is going to happen. It's hard to know because I don't really have anything to compare it against. Biden administration stands down on policing commission and focuses on legislative route instead. Oh, right. So people were freaking out about his commission on the Supreme Court. And I kind of wonder, are they going to do that? Is he going to try and do that unilaterally or something? Because otherwise, why does it matter? They do the commission, they put out a recommendation, and they just ignore it. This is probably what happens, right? 1,000 trading there at 14. So we should keep an eye on the dollar here because the dollar is in a spot now where they could run that, they're kind of in a resistance area. 92.04. So if we see the dollar make a significant move back down to the 92 area, 92 even area, I think that could be really good for equities overall. Then now the over here in the treasuries, it looks like they're just kind of stuck in this hole here, 20. So can't read too much from that. ES is the only, well, they're basically at zero on ES. The other two haven't, other three, I guess, because we include RTY. Indexes haven't really taken off yet. Oil's still doing well, but off of its highs. Biden will announce his intent to nominate Chris Ingalls as National Cyber Director. Okay. They call it Cyber Director? I think the problem with inflation is the Fed thinks it's a complicated problem in the SciFin framework, but it is complex. Wonder where you got that from. I see your picture. It says they're explaining the difference between complex, complicated, chaos, and simple. And then in the middle it says disorder. And I'm like, okay. I think that the explanation on the nature of inflation is really easy, okay? Inflation is not something that people typically think a lot about, okay? But when they are forced to think about it, it's going to be very much on their mind, right? Yeah, you don't think about how much prices are going up when it's only 2% per year. But when it's fast enough that you actually notice it, all of a sudden, all of the consumers are like, oh, crap, I've got to buy it. Like, I'm thinking I would like a new desk because this is like one of those IKEA desks where it's just like a honeycomb structure underneath of it. So I can't like mount anything to it or any of that, right? So I'm thinking, oh, I should buy some wood before it gets any more expensive because wood just keeps getting more and more expensive, right? Once it becomes your concern, it's like people become really preoccupied with it. And the inflation leads to more inflation. There is a feedback effect to it, right? So that's why you get what you do with the Federal Reserve is it takes a lot sometimes to get out of the deflationary spiral and into inflation. And the issue is that once you get the inflation, it's so self-reinforcing that it's kind of hard to hold it back. And the way that you hold it back is you increase rates, and that hurts the markets, right? So you've got this balance then that you have to make where it's like, okay, can you, if inflation starts to run away from them, can they tamp things back down without risking the whole economy? And I think given the situation and the valuations that we have right now, that it's a really difficult. I think it's a really difficult one to sort out. I think when I hear him talk about it and they're so confident that like, we just make this small adjustment and everything's fine. And, they're always going to try and project like, oh, well, we know we've got everything under control. But from my perspective, with the number of unknowns, it's like shocking to me that they can act that confident about it, because I would be sitting there being like, well, yeah, this is what we believe we need to do because we do need to catch back up on inflation. But I don't know if we can actually, I would be worried about it. I would probably make a bad Fed president, wouldn't I? Because put so many qualifiers. I'm so careful about what I say that you don't get the confidence that, a Fed president needs to create, right? But I guess that means that the Fed president sometimes might just have to lie, right? This video I'll watch later. What the best possible idea for Binance's attempts to avoid U.S. regulatory action is to start listing fractions of tokenized U.S. stocks. What? No. Bitfinex has been a lot more active today for some reason. Oh, that's a good point. Remember, the U.S. government has the ability to digitally inflate another country and sabotage their most secure nuclear facilities, but do not have the resources, expertise, or will to do the same to a number of crypto platforms if they ever felt the urge to do so. This is so right. I don't think that anything like that is going to happen anytime soon, but they could tell, like, this whole thing about, like, oh, we're going to bring down the global banking. No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen that way. You can become a part of the global system, but then is that really what then you just become more part of the problem again, right? Anyways. I'm reading through his feed here. Some stuff about BitMEX. Yeah, right. When Tesla buys 1.5 billion of Bitcoin, it makes headlines for months and is huge news because it's Elon Musk, yeah. But when Tether prints 4 billion each week out of thin air virtually, nobody is talking about it, right? And that's as far back as I need to go on that. So. Interest rates have nowhere to go but up, and that will depress bond prices. Timeless dollar said. Well, the interest rates are definitely going to keep increasing. It's just how much. By how much? How quickly? Okay. So they're kind of coming back like maybe they're going to try and test the low. For the moment, still looks like chop. The hill. Biden is thinking about building that wall, and it's a good thing. There you go. I hope that they build that wall under Biden, and then all of a sudden Democrats are like, actually, no, building the wall is a great thing. And Republicans will like pretend, oh no, you shouldn't build the wall. Pretend to not like that they're building it. And, right? Then in the end, everybody will be happy. GameStop drops 10% after analyst downgrades to sell. Ooh. I'm tempted to bring up my stocks. Maybe here in a second. Still watching her chop around the regular open price. Well, it was a decently bullish few ticks there in the E-mini. So that's the point that we've been brought to, is that the range has become so consolidated and everything that 3 ticks up in the E-mini is like, oh yeah, I like that last 3 ticks. I think I should buy it here. Watch them go below 12. $30 is moving quite a bit. Moving. The 10 and the 5 are pretty even on each other, but the 5 has been pushing up a lot faster. Okay. So this makes Seth happy. By the way, how are our robots doing? Well, one of them, hey, they're doing pretty good today. One of them is down 15, one of them is up 17, one of them is up 6, and one of them is down 13. It's not bad. Because like on Friday, they were all down. But what I like more is that it seems to be the same 2 that perform best. So... Oh, yeah, I saw that one. Police in California City declare unlawful assembly amid White Lives Matter protest. So these people decided to, I don't know why you would call it that, but I guess he's just trying to cause trouble. They had a parade that was like a White Lives Matter parade, and counter protesters came, and so of course fighting broke out in that situation, and then it was shut down. Let me bring it back. I gotta blow my nose here. They're all tweeting about the GameStops. So now that we got our order filled there on that, let's look at the GameStops, shall we? Oh, man. By the way, I have to thank Anthony for coming in earlier and giving us donations again. I was just looking at that. I was like, wow, that guy has been so generous to the channel. And hey, we're doing okay today, so make sure you click that like button. It makes a big difference on the channel. You click the like button. Yeah, at 15, looking okay. Taking a while over here, Fidelity, to pull up the data. Yeah, it's just waiting. I don't know what it's doing. kind of thinking that maybe it, oh no, wait, it did something. The screen changed. Okay, there we go. Hold up. Gotta fix this. Why is that open? We don't want that open. There we go. Okay. Oh man. Okay, so when you look at it in context, that GameStop looking kind of like that's a pretty ugly down move. I think though that we need to go back. We need to zoom out further, huh? Okay. Okay, so we are now past, essentially past the 50% retracement of the big up move. Battle on 60 Minutes. We don't have the ability to identify asset bubbles perfectly. And then Stalingrad and Porsky says, that's funny, you only have the ability to create those asset bubbles and then just coincidentally step in when these bubbles experience significant drops in value. Oh gosh, a Zero Hedge. Zero Hedge says, it looks like a new generation of shorts is piling into GameStop. You're welcome. Or maybe, I could be wrong, maybe some people that have had long positions on for like a long time are finally getting bored of it. How do you know that it's new shorts? I don't know if it's new shorts or not. All I know is that I'm not interested anymore. It's old news. It's old news to me, and that's probably like bad. It's the one that keeps the interest for the longest is probably good, but in a stock like this where like the power has been the power of memes, I think that's a problem. Oh, I didn't notice AG is at 17. Is it really? Because they were pricing $1 increase last week. They actually increased $1. So AG, even though silver kind of hasn't gone anywhere, AG has actually gone up $1. So that's good for AG, the silver. Tesla's up 3% today. Whew. And GameStop is over 10%. This is going to turn into a real doozy. I'm wondering how far this can go in GameStop. Do you think that it could become a 15-20% drop today? And you know what? A couple of the other momentum stocks, RKT, Buzz, those are all down. FCX, that's copper. Copper's down today, so that would be expected. Amazon is flat. MSTR is actually up. I guess MSTR should be up because of the Bitcoins. AMC is down almost 5%. PLTR down 3.56. It looks like that the overall market is actually doing really well today, but the meme plays are all doing poorly, and that might be part of the reason why the index has kind of been sluggish and difficult. Yeah. Bed Bath & Beyond down. Our banks up a little bit. Sumo up a little bit. That's good. Oh, Rare Earth Resources going. Google down. SNBR. You remember what SNBR is? I don't remember why we put it on our list. But they're down 2.39. So, and the VIX. The VIX is actually up a little bit. That's the one that we really should have right here. Right here. That should be... Okay, so there was a pretty good jump over the weekend off of that, too. Now, that's interesting. So it's not like there was some big risk catalyst or anything. So I don't think that it's up off of risk. Maybe it's because people are adding in options again. Are we getting one of those? We gonna have to keep an close eye on that. By the way, I went and I found the treasury yield. Here's TYX, right? And it's not anywhere close to what the yield is. So I don't know what I'm looking at there, but it's not the percentage rate. Yeah, so what do you think? How about we do a 1 minute on GameStop? Should we clickbait the headline? GameStop drops 10%. The other thing is that today, this kind of really makes the chart look ugly, doesn't it? Bitcoin has a larger market cap than the 4 largest banks in the US. Not surprised, but trying to compare the market cap of Bitcoin to the market cap of a company is kind of silly, though, right? Oh my gosh, one of you guys took your like away. Ah, I see. I get it, guys. I get it. We should, we should just turn this into the Steve stream and he can tell you what everything is going to do and predict everything. And, talk about all the ones that he made that was really good. Ignore the ones that were really bad. Oh man, that was one of the stocks that he originally called out, and since that time, it has done very poorly. It has done very poorly. Well, GameStop is trying to pull out some sort of a run there. I wonder if GameStop going down is helping some of the other, like the hedge fund favorite stocks, because of the long short equity, dichotomy, whatever we want to call it. Oh, come on, this one. So over the weekend, the Iranian nuclear facility lost power. And everybody is all like, who was it? Who did it? And I'm just sitting over here, well, it couldn't have been the Israelis. That would be crazy. Okay, well, I might have to take it here. So typically these come back, but we got the hole there. And I kind of want to come out today with an okay, and that's not bad. What was it, $25 in the end? I lost way too much on that first one. Especially, well, it only went 4 in my favor on that first one. So the second one, I should have gotten way more on it, right? Like I could have made 50 on both of these. So I don't know. The thing is that if those meme stocks are the ones that are down, it's going to be difficult for the indexes to just be like gangbusters long, right? Because part of the reason that the market had been behaving the way that it was because of the retail hoard. And you're not getting that behavior anymore. I think that the retail is running into a wall here, right? Well, that down move did extend a little bit further. This doesn't mean that it's done for now, but earlier I was saying maybe we can get some dollar weakness to come in here, and it did. I need to keep my eye on this dollar, that dollar a little bit better, but look, and then this most recent little fall has been all the dollar. So getting the dollar being the dominant factor. There's a Bank of Canada survey coming out here. Some news. Check in on our algorithms. Gabby never took one today. Market's been perfectly fine today. So I'm I'm getting this one. I have like the minimum and then I do the opposite of the minimum. So they're both using the same trigger, but they have a filter that's the opposite of each other, right? And the one that's winning has made more than to make up for the one that's losing on that side. Not on the other side. The max one is not doing so hot, but it does make me wonder because when I was testing this earlier between whether it was going to be J or J2, and I eventually decided J2. But you can see here that a big factor behind J and J2 never really doing very well was that they didn't have the book figured out very effectively. Now the issue that I'm seeing is that one of them will be correct, but so far I'm not detecting a pattern in terms of like which one is going to do best and all of that. So that's kind of interesting. I guess they're going to try a short here. So the dollar's strength has backed off a little bit. You're still struggling overall. You need to do something about this. I got like a dry skin spot on my hand. I think I'm going to need to get some more aggressive lotion. Alpha Gaming is leaving Twitch? Oh my, I have to watch this. I'm so interested. Is he just going to stream on YouTube or is he just not going to live stream anymore? He hasn't been live streaming a lot anyways. I could see him doing that. That's interesting. He's one of my market research well, he's not a participant, but I watch him for market research to see how he does and what changes he makes. And I had been for a long time saying, well, I don't think that streaming on Twitch makes sense anymore. And now he's making the same conclusion. I think that that's significant. Oh boy. Uh-huh. He's going to stream on YouTube. So interesting. That reminds me, we haven't talked about this for a while, but because it's not there yet. But remember that we're supposed to be getting highlights soon, stream highlights and stuff. I'm excited about that. That's going to be fun, guys. Of course, the markets have been boring lately. You know, I wonder. So when I look at my views and things like that, there's a couple of things that I've found to be correlated to my view count, right? One of the things is that there does appear to be a relationship between how well the markets overall are doing and how many people watch, right? Like if the market is really going crazy, we tend to get more viewers, right? There's also a correlation between how much I do video. So I haven't done a one-off video in a while. That's certainly hurting the numbers too, right? But I'm wondering if the market has just been so quiet, if that is a more significant factor right now. And it begs the question, why has the market become so quiet? Is it because there are some day traders that went back to work and they're not interested in it anymore? And the robots are reacting to that, less liquidity. They don't want to trade. I don't, it seems a little odd, don't you think? It's kind of wonder. Well, the E-mini is back at the lows. They haven't pushed through the low yet. They're like a point away. This could just kind of break. I think that we should change the title of today's video to Market Struggle as GameStop drops 10%. No, we should put GME drops 10% amid broader market weakness. Is amid what we want to say? Surrounded by or in the middle of is what amid means. Pierre says, yes. Yes, we do. That's not a clickbaity enough of a headline, right? I need to be like, GME, buy the dip, diamond hands, monkey, buy more, right? Hi. This child here who is trying to get into the office. He there's like a little snow shovel that I think was meant for kids. I don't like it being in the house because it's kind of dirty and it was meant for outside. But that is his favorite thing now. Like, I don't think I've ever seen something where it was like his favorite thing for more than a few days, but he finds that every day. Is it baby time? He just walked away. He didn't whine to be let in either. That's kind of odd. Okay, so they did break the low by like a tick. Was it a tick? 50, 25. It's by 2 ticks. But it bounced back really quick. Oh man. This one robot that is doing well today is doing really well today. He has made more than all of the other ones. So we got one is minus 15, one is minus 4, one is plus 6, and then this last one is up 26. So if we can maintain that, and then we change it up so that it has the skewed risk reward, so that we're taking on risk as we're doing it too, I'm kind of liking our chances here. Need more data. We definitely need more data, right? Can come back and look at them all. It's kind of hard to do that. Look at them over from a day-to-day basis. I don't get as good of stats on these as I do when I'm backtesting because of the level 2, because of the live factor. And we do got to be conscious also that there's like very tiny tolerances on this. So actually, maybe I should. Well, actually, what I will do is once I've picked one that is the best, I think I will test the really good risk reward to equal risk reward. Not really good, but I mean, the one that takes on a lot of risk to the one that's equal, and compare those against each other and see what happens. See if their performance is significantly different or not. Pierre says short time. It is a pretty high frequency algo, yeah. So like this one that's doing well, we pull up the stats. Oh, it's only taken 4 trades today? Really? Well, that's not what I expected to see. Actually, way less trades. They thought, now what about this one? That one took 5. But I guess that's because I'm using J2. J2 doesn't take as many trades as J1 does. Essentially, J2 is a little bit more picky. J2 wants it to be going his way first. So that's why I'm wondering, maybe this the high convexity J2 will do poorly, maybe. I don't know. The thing is I know that it doesn't make $26. If it made 26 every day, like if it averaged out to be 26 every day, we could live with that. We could live with that, but I don't think that it's going to do that well. BBG, which I assume stands for Bloomberg. The Biden administration is stepping up scrutiny of China's plans for digital yuan, with some officials concerned the move could kick off a long-term bid to topple the dollar as the world's dominant reserve currency. And Zero Hedge's comment on this is, so digital bucks will have an even shorter expiration date. So I think what he's talking about on that, my initial thought was like, oh, so does that mean that they'll try and get the digital dollars in fast now? The digital yuan, they can put an expiration on your dollar. So you lose your dollar if you don't use it fast enough. Isn't that crazy? Can you imagine owning a currency where if you don't use it fast enough, it goes away? Well, that certainly would lead to consumer. But this is the thing that kind of means that we were right, isn't it? Because what did we always say is they want you to spend it. They don't want you to save it, because saving it is what will help you the most. You go in and buy the markets with it and you've made more money, but they want you to spend it. Huh? And now they're like, you saving your dollars is such a big problem that we're going to have to force you to spend them. with a currency where it goes away if you don't spend it fast enough. At least in China. I don't think that they would do that in the United States. I'd be shocked if they did. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Spend it in gold. Bavaria Premier's party backs him in showdown to succeed Merkel. That would be interesting to see the world without Angela Merkel at the head. Couple of little headlines popping through here. And I've got about 10 minutes left before I got to get going. I'm going to make sure that that laptop is turned on here real quick. Okay, I think we're good there. U.S. banks into earnings. Why so serious? Oh yeah, the earnings could be bad for banks. I mean, last earnings were really good, but there was kind of some hints that it would be difficult for them to keep up that level of performance. Well, I tell you what, I'm sure glad that I got out when I did. I really didn't think that it would go down as low as it did. In fact, I was kind of thinking maybe we could try and buy the dip again. But then I said, yeah, but it's not normal for them to have two dips like that. Normally it's like there's a little bit of a buy and then there's a dip and then it's up all day. But today, you know, it's a little bit more constrained than normal anyways. But then they didn't make that hike and they dipped down, and so I bailed. Now they did make a new low and they're bouncing again. So they're back to 41.10. So it's not like it's a disaster. The overnight low is 41.04. Daily targets are going to be, let me refresh this just to make sure they get this right. Daily targets are going to have us on the downside at 40.90. 40.90 looks pretty reasonable. That would just take us into previous sessions levels. So, and it would certainly make sense for us to chop around the 4100 area for a long time. And there's GameStop kind of making a little push. I'm wondering, so something I think I'm going to be watching for in GameStop, something that we've seen often on big days in GameStop, is a significant pullback, you know? Like, I bet you there's... I bet you. I don't really know. I wouldn't be willing to put money on this one, but I think at some point they are likely to bounce back up into the 150, 152 area again. That's what's been happening recently. If it doesn't happen, then I think that that means that the dynamic of the players in GameStop has changed, and that would be concerning, right? All right, well, and again, the upside is 41.34. And the IMF's Okamoto is talking. Oh man, I was watching the Netflix documentary about the Age of Samurais. I thought it was just going to be like a thing that was like a different samurai, but no, it's actually about the guy who took over Japan. And I didn't know anything about that history. It was so interesting. Shopper numbers jump 218% as England reopens economy, says Reuters. Looks like all of the metals, zinc and nickel, doing poorly today. according to Patrick Rooney on Twitter. Where's my market? There it is. CL has come back a little bit more. And notice that we're getting this across the board, aren't we? It used to be that everything was always blue, and now it's everything is always just a little bit orange. And I'm thinking, you know, how long does that last? Because it's when it's just like a little bit sell persistently every day, just a little bit. Not when it gets crazy, but just a little bit every day. That's when I get concerned, you know? That's the kind of behavior that makes me go like, oh, that's not good. Let's see here. Don't fall into the low volume on the way up is bad trap, please. And then they have a thing. The 5-day average of U.S. equity volumes in billions per share. Forward returns when the volume is down over 40% from 3-month highs versus all other periods. And it looks like that they still, in 1 month, they do better than other time periods, but they don't do as well on a 12-month basis. But it's still up on a 12-month basis. Well, those stats aren't enough for me to really do anything on. I can remember there was this time period. We're not quite there yet, but after in, I'd say 2010. Yeah, it would have been 2010. So, like, we had recovered it, and we had been recovered for about a year or so since, like, the lows, right? And so there was all of this talk about if we'll have a double dip recession and that sort of stuff, right? With a lot of people thinking that we would. And there was this 1 week where the market, it was like the S&P 500 barely moved 2 points. Because I was looking for 4 points overall. Oh man, this is the S&P 500 moves so much compared to back then. But it was like the whole week it moved like 2 points. It just chopped in this range, and it was kind of the same time year. I think it was a little bit later. I think it was May. I think it was kind of more like sell in May time. But it was just dead for a week, consolidated, and then they moved higher. You know, it was no big deal. So that's the only thing that I really have to compare it to. I don't know if it actually really means anything. Well, they did bounce pretty good. They're 41.12 now. Another push higher and above the ATR stop. So maybe they could get a little bit more bullish of a move. We'll see. I mean, if I had to guess, I would say that they're still going to end the day higher and that there could be another ramp. That's another thing, is we could be watching the close for the ramp. See if there's another ramp at the close or not. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. And 6J making a move now, by the way. It's back up positive. Okay, well. Iran blames Israel for the Nance sabotage. The intel sources say enrichment set back 9 months. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Okay. Well, guys, I want to keep yapping, but quiet week. I think that we could continue to be quiet. We'll see. But in the meantime, I got to go. Ooh, I need to think about what I'm going to do for Stock Market Steve today. I have to think about that one harder. Hey, stay profitable.